Hello, I want to record a video here for all my students that have me for this semester and students who will have me in future semester, or if any all are hanging around from previous semesters, it's for you as well. I want to talk a little bit about what it means to have academic integrity and to have to avoid academic dishonesty. And this is an important topic, and it's becoming ever more important as innovations in cheating keep on happening. Now, my real belief is that AI, ChatGPT, is no more innovative than taking an article you found in by doing a library research and then just changing a whole bunch of the words and putting it and turning it in as your own. It's not all that special, but it is much, much easier to do cheating through ChatGPT and through other forms now than it used to be. And so it's I should also say it's also easier to catch people. That's important to point out. This video is being recorded for my humanities students, for my philosophy students, for my creative writing students, but for the primary topic that I teach, which is writing. And it's important to think about this idea of writing across all these different disciplines, across all the disciplines that you'll take classes in, across your professional career, as being something that requires academic integrity and that must avoid academic dishonesty. Let's talk about what these two things mean. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at some explanations for these ideas. I actually want to think a little bit about what it means to work with integrity or to have academic integrity, and then what it means to work with dishonesty and what or academic dishonesty. I mean, think about your job. You are an employee at Taco Bell, or a mechanic at a shop, or you work in a clothing store, and you think about what it means to work with integrity there. Working with integrity means that you are going to be actively engaged in what's going on, and you're going to do the job that you have agreed to do with your employers. You're going to be meaningfully participate in whatever's happening there and how it's happening. You're going to give authentic effort. You're actually going to try and put your effort into it. You're going to put yourself at risk because you're going to try something and somebody may criticize you, and you're going to be vulnerable because you're putting yourself in the position of being judged by somebody else. And you're going to work with humility. That is, you don't know everything, but that as you're doing that work, you're building agency. You're learning how to be an authority. All those aspects of integrity go with working at Taco Bell or working on the floor of a clothing store. They also go with academic work integrity. You must be actively engaged. You must have meaningful participation. You must give authentic effort. You must put yourself at risk and have vulnerability, and you must approach it with humility so that you can build agency. That's what a student does. Here's the thing about this, though. If you don't have those things, you're not necessarily breaking any rules. If you're not actively engaged, it's going to show up in your grade. It's not really breaking a rule. If you're not meaningfully participating, that's on you. If you don't give authentic effort, well, so you're not producing everything that you want to produce. And if you don't make yourself at risk or make yourself vulnerable, you're not really going to learn very much. And if you don't approach it with humility so that you can build agency, you're not really allowing somebody else to instruct you. Those are problems. And frankly, there are problems all of us have all the time as we try to do academics and work, because it takes a lot of effort to be able to meet these demands. They're problems. They're not against the rules. It's not a dishonest act to not give your authentic effort. However, There are dishonest acts in academia and at work. You're intentionally detached. That is, you show up, but you don't plan on actually being a part of anything. Your careless participation, you don't care about the people around you or how it might affect you. You don't care about the culture. You don't care about what you're putting in there. You have deceptive production. You pretend like you're doing the work. You pretend like you're giving the effort, but you're not really. You're somehow cheating on that. You are detached from what's going on, and that puts you at risk. You don't feel like you are anything there is going to affect you, and so it doesn't matter. But that actually puts you at risk, and you're kind of arrogant, and you're kind of apathetic because you don't think that anybody's going to catch you or anybody's going to worry about you. So at Taco Bell, you're supposed to be on your shift, you're supposed to be working, and you go take a nap in the stock room. Or worse, you're supposed to be on your shift, you're supposed to be working, and you're taking money out of the till as you're taking orders. That's actually cheating. That's actually breaking the rules, and it's done intentionally. In school, you're supposed to be doing an assignment, and you actually avoid doing the work by letting somebody else do the work for you. That's actually cheating. It's actually dishonest. These are important concepts. I mean, think about your purpose of being here in the first place. If what you are doing while you're here is dishonest, that's a serious problem. If it's lacking integrity, that's a different problem. That's one that we try to deal with all the time with trying to show you why this stuff's important. But if you are dishonest in the way that you're doing it, if you are using others' words as your own, others' ideas as your own, if you're copying ideas, research, or arguments and putting them out there as your own, if you're intentionally misrepresenting or not citing your sources, you're using sources, but you're not putting the citations in, and that's intentional, not just a mistake. Or if you're allowing others to control your text, that is, you hand your text to somebody else and they fix it. You hand your text in one language to a translator and it translates it for you. If you're allowing others to control your text, you are veering into academic dishonesty. And then, of course, if you're turning in AI generated work, you are cheating. When you allow yourself to be academically dishonest, you are doing something akin to standing at Taco Bell and taking money out of the till and putting it in your pocket because you are misrepresenting the work you are supposed to be doing. And the question is why? Why would you misrepresent that? Well, there's a couple of clear reasons, right? You're running out of time and you got to get an assignment done, or you are so stressed and you couldn't come up with any ideas, or you're confused and lost and you don't know how to do it. But none of those are really good reasons. And usually they're not the main reasons why people cheat. The main reason why people cheat is because they don't have integrity and they don't want integrity and they are dishonest. They are actually trying to get by with not doing the work. If that's you in any occasion, I invite you to stop and think and ask, is that really who you want to be? Do you want to try to get by without doing the work? And if you do, then you got to ask, why are you in college? What's the point? If you're going to allow somebody else to do all the work for you, what's the point of being here? I want to show you something about why, we could talk about all the different ways that professors have of knowing that you didn't do the work. But let's be clear about something. Professors are the authorities. And if they see your work and they say that you've cheated, the burden is on you to show that you did not cheat, because the professor is the authority. They know what is appropriate and what is not. We could go through all that kind of stuff that professors do, but I want to talk a moment about AI as an example of why cheating is just so silly. So we are on ChatGPT. And I'm going to have ChatGPT write something for me. You see my background. I'm doing a comedy club. So let's just do a stand-up comedy routine on community college students. I want to be a comedian. But I don't want to write my own jokes. That just takes too much time. And I really don't understand what is funny and what is not. So I'm going to let ChatGPT write my comedy routine for you. I look for a stand-up comedy routine on community college students, and it's going to write it for me. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to perform it for you. Now, the way a stand-up comedian might perform it. And then I'll show it to you after I'm done performing. I want you to listen. Is this funny? Does this work as stand-up comedy? Let's try it out. Let's pretend like we're in a club and you're sitting there, you're drinking a drink, you've paid money for stand-up comedy, and here comes your comedian. Hey everyone. So I was driving the other day and I saw a sign for community college, and it got me to thinking about community college students. Now, don't get me wrong, community college can be a great option for some people. But let's be honest, it's not exactly where you go if you're aiming for Harvard. No offense to anyone who's attending community college. But I have to say, there are some stereotypes about community college students that just can't be ignored. For one, there's the classic stereotype of the older student who's coming back to school after years and years of being out in the world. You know the type. They're always asking the professor to explain things in real world terms. Like, dude, we're in college. The real world is somewhere else. And then there's the students who are just there because they couldn't get into any other school. They're the ones trying to walk around campus with their heads down, trying to avoid eye contact with anyone who might be judging them. But at least they're trying, right? And let's not forget about the ones who are there because their parents made them go. They're the ones who are always complaining about how early their classes are, how hard the work is. Newsflash, kid, this is what college is all about. But I have to say, my favorite community college stereotype is the one about the students who are always trying to one up each other. You know, the ones that are always bragging about how they got an A on a test or how they finished their homework 2 days early. And if someone else tries to brag, they'll just come right back with something even more impressive. It's like they're in a never ending competition to see who can be the most successful community college student. So there you have it, folks. Community college students might not be the most prestigious group, but they sure are entertaining. Thanks for coming out tonight. And remember, education is important no matter where you get it. There's my ChatGPT comedy routine. Not exactly funny. Doesn't actually make much sense. It actually just goes for the most common denominator in um, in stereotypes about community college students. And indeed, while the patterning, the timing, the way that it's styled sounds a little bit like a comedy routine. You can see it does a setup and then it does a punchline. None of it's funny. None of it makes much sense. None of it's entertaining. If you paid money and went to a comedy club, sorry, and listened to a comedian do this routine, you would probably be pretty angry. Now, you're paying money to go to college. While it's not exactly the same analogy, you're paying money to develop yourself into something different than what you are. What does it mean that you would go to college and then produce something so fake? I want to show you another example of ChatGPT. So now I'm going to take you back to the ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you the project that my current students are doing for our humanity, or I'm sorry, one of the projects my current students did for our humanities course. Our humanities course this semester was designed around the subject of food, and we looked through the history of what the humanities field is by looking at texts around food. So here is my assignment. Produce an academic project that analyzes or interprets at least one cultural text that we have covered in class this semester. Your project must be developed for an audience of interested persons who may not be part of the class. Your project must make your object analysis more meaningful to your audience by showing how and why that object is important in culture. The careful work and thought that goes into college level work must be evident in your production, so on and so forth. It must be equivalent to a 4-page paper. So I'm going to, after this cultural text, I'm going to put in one of the texts that we've looked at, and I'm just going to use Hippocrates' Regimen and Health. This was a text that we looked at from ancient Greece, where Hippocrates wrote about good foods to eat to keep you healthy. Now, that's the one I'm going to be studying. Let's see what ChatGPT does with this prompt. I hate to lose this brilliant community college, this brilliant comedy, but hey, we've got to hear the what it has to say about regimen and health. It gives us a title, an analysis of regimen and health, importance and cultural significance. That's drawn directly from my assignment. Now it's going to give us the paper. Regimen in Health, also known as Regimen Sanctatis Salutationem, is a medieval medical poem that provides practical advice on how to maintain good health. The poem covers various topics such as diet, exercise, and hygiene, and was widely used as medical textbook in the Middle Ages. Although it was written in the 12th century, Regimen in Health continues to be relevant today as it offers valuable insights into the historical, cultural, and cultural aspects of health and wellness. In this paper, I will analyze the cultural significance and importance of regimen in health and its relevance to contemporary society. As a professor receiving this paper, I will already know there's something funky going on here. Here's a couple things that let me know that. There's no citation for Regimen Sanctatis Salutationem, or whatever the words are. There's no understanding of, is this a poem or an actual text, or what a textbook was in the Middle Ages? There's no real claims about how it's still relevant today. But here's the big one. Regimen in Health was a text with the same title that we used that came from ancient Greece, not the Middle Ages. A student who submits this didn't even read this ChatGPT that they submitted, which frankly, if you have no integrity, you're not working with engagement, you don't care about what you're doing, and then you're going to be dishonest, you're doubly telling on yourself. I'll just show you this produced not a 4-page paper. This is probably a 2-page paper. It sounds righty, but it's nowhere near what we were doing in the class. And how could it be? ChatGPT is not going to the class with me. They're not participating in the work that we're doing. It has no idea what you need. And guess what? ChatGPT doesn't care about what you need. It is just taking what you put into it and using it to build its mind. Work with integrity. And if you can't do that, at least work in an honest fashion. If you're not going to do the reading, you're not going to do the discussions, you're not going to be a part of what's going on, will that, man, that's your choice. I don't judge you for that. There's so much that we have going on in our lives, and some of us sign up for courses and just can't get into them. I understand. What I don't understand is how you move from that to saying, well, I can't really do the work, but I'm going to pretend like I did. Maybe I'll get credit anyway. When you do that, you are risking not only an assignment or the course, you are risking your college career. And whether or not you ever get caught, you are throwing away your college career in meaningless acts. If you want to tell a joke about a community college, experience community college and then write the joke. Don't let a computer do it for you. I look forward to seeing what work we can produce together when we are practicing integrity. Thanks for being a part of the class.